All right, so what I'm going to talk about is Tesla and why I think it bottomed. I honestly think the market's about to rally hard, have a broad-based market rally. Today's March the 25th. Everything's pointing at it. I can see marijuana stocks, which is like a risk-on aspect, crypto. I actually think China's about to have its rally starting this week, and um, now I believe Tesla's bottomed, and I'm going to show you why. Okay. So I'm a big Elliott Wave user, and in the previous cycle, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all right, and then A, B, C. Just to cover that really quick, and then now let's break down 2023 to now. All right, so if I look at this, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, and I believe this is a truncated fifth. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so there's 5 waves here, and this would say that this is wave 1 of the following wave. All right, so let's break down this more. So if this is um, wave 5 and it's a truncated fifth, right? So let's go ahead and do this just to make it easier. So if this is a 5-wave structure, now we're going to look for an ABC structure, okay? If this is the 5th wave, what I would be looking for is a 3-wave A, which is what that is, okay? A 3-wave A, and then I would look for a wave B of the similar nature, which is ABC, and typically B wave terminates between the 50 and 61% retracement. Okay, now it can get up to 78% if there's still a lot of momentum, but in this case, we had the perfect rejection exactly where we expected it. Okay, so then we have B wave, and now we have C wave. Okay, so on a basic fundamental analysis of Elliott Wave Theory, I can see a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ABC correction. Now let's break down the C wave just to see if we have actually finished C wave, which would indicate that we've actually bottomed. Okay, so let's go ahead and break this down. So if this is B wave and this is C wave, this is what I'm looking at. This is B wave and this is C wave. I would look for a 3 or 5 wave structure to represent A. Okay, and in this case I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and that would represent A. Then I would look for a 3-wave or a 5-wave structure, not a 3-wave or 5-wave, but a 3-wave or an A, B, C, D, E correction for B wave. And in this case, I see an A, B, C, D, E. Okay. And then in this case, I would look for a 5-wave structure or a 3-wave structure again, completing C. All right, so let me go and delete this, and let's just break this down. All right, in my opinion, what I see here is a 3-wave structure. We see an A, B, C, right? So A, B, C, D, E, B, C. Now that we've done the Elliott Wave Theory analysis. Now typically what gives a lot of confluence to Elliott Wave Theory is if it actually is combined with other technicals, right? And something that I find really important is if we look at this previous move right here, right? If we look at this previous move, what we will see here is, there we go. Why isn't it showing up on this? Oh, there we go. Okay. All right. So if we look at this entire move from $100 all the way to 300, right? From January of 2023 to July of 2023. All right. We can see that and we're around this price range. Okay. So there's no point in really collecting the data up here. But if we draw a volume profile representing the low here to the breakout here, right? We can see the consolidation of the volume profile. And what I was looking at is here. If we were to break below this price of 159, we are under 99% of the volume traded of this entire bull move, right? So if that were to happen, in my opinion, there could be no technical trade or a way to find a technical bottom for Tesla unless we break under this one or all the way down to 100. But if we break from here, this is 150. So that's another, 60% drop, something like that. So what I'm applying here is just pure psychology and common sense, right? So if we were to start printing under 159, 158, what we have here is us starting to develop or accepting price under all of the previous price action. That means everyone's underwater, or essentially 95, 99% of everyone's underwater since this move, everyone that's bought this move. So if there was ever a place for there to be a bottom, I would think it would be in this area, right? It has to be in this area, right? So what we would call this, even though this is a value area low, I would call this demand, right? And I always do demand with purple, and I would write here demand. And this is purely on common sense and psychology level, right? If there was ever a place for everyone to buy, it has to be here, right? Otherwise, there is no technical basis for a bottoming factor in Tesla, in which I've tweeted about this, that if we started printing below this, then I don't think there's a technical bottom. I think Tesla would bottom when interest rates are starting to be cut, right? Because then they can forecast that. But I'm going to go with my gut and say that this is a technical bottom. And what I have here is I have the rationalization of this with common sense psychology and technicals combined with Elliott Wave Theory also telling me that we landed where? Right here, right? Right at the edge, right? If there was ever going to be a place, right here. Where did we land? Right at the edge, right? If you see. So if this is the bottom, what I would like to see is a bullish shift in structure and a bullish count. Bullish counts are 5 waves. Bearish counts or corrective counts are 3 waves or waves of 3. So if I was to go in the lower time frame, what I see here is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What do I see here? An ABC correction. What am I currently seeing on this micro count? I am seeing the possibility of a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? But I think this is what's happening, right? If we go here and we look at this bottom where we're at, 50 to 78, as long as we don't print under this type thing, it'd be good. But what I can see here currently is for sure a 5-wave structure. Now, given this could be an ABCDE or something like this, we have to let the chart develop to actually have this for a confirmation or more of a bias using this second wave. But up to this point, I see a 5-wave structure and I see an ABC structure. So this tells me that this is a bullish count, right? Now let's zoom out and let's look at other aspects or other technicals. If we look, what we can see here is even though we made lower lows, we see a bullish divergence in the RSI, right? This is fairly large, right? And now we're starting to base over the VWAP, the RSI VWAP. This is a bullish, a technical, right? So what we're looking for here is the confluence of technicals, the combination of many technicals aligning to the same thesis. All right, so we have 2 here. This is a third one. We have a bullish divergence on the RSI. We have a reclaiming of the RSI VWAP. Now this is one of my favorite indicators. This is the ADL line. What I see here is, remember, I always talk about there's hundreds of technicals. You always want to identify the technicals that have proven themselves and then use it till it disproves itself. So if we look at this accumulation, by the way, if we look at this in general, if we look at all-time highs versus the all-time high here, 11.7 billion to 14 billion. They've accumulated during the downtrend. So this tells me that this is a broad, larger time frame, multi-year accumulation, right? But let's zoom in on 2024. So what we have here is an ascending support that's been respected 1, 2, and now 3 times, right? And when we have hit this ascending support, what has price action told us? When we hit this ascending support, we reversed off of 194 and we rode up all the way to 263. So this ascending support reversal right here was a 34% move, 35% move. What about this one, right? What do we have here? We have a 17% move, 16% move. Now, where are we at now, right? If we look here now, we have now tapped it at the bottom in this demand zone, right? And we are currently basing with a 5-wave structure. I believe that's a 5-wave structure. Having an ABC pullback, and I think we go higher here. I think the bottom is in. I think we start the Tesla rally, right? So this is the ADL line of support with accumulation. Now what we're doing is we're about to break out above all of this sideways accumulation. To me, this is sideways accumulation that made lower highs all the way from 300 to 160. Meanwhile, accumulating the same amount of shares. This is so bullish, it's not funny. This is bullish accumulation. Now let's look at some type of pattern on the ADL line because these work out. Look at this head and shoulders, right? Look at this inverse head and shoulders, right? Head and shoulders or inverse head and shoulders. And now we have this head and shoulders. It's over the place. They always work. And now what we're doing is we're making a higher high from this price over here, right? Which was a close of 178.65 and current price is only 172. So we've already accumulated in the short term higher than this one. This is bullish. Let's look at the daily MACD, right? We're starting to cross over. Even though we're crossing over, we've also had a bullish divergence. If we look, right, lower lows on the price action, higher highs on the MACD, higher highs on the accumulation factor, higher highs on the RSI. Everything is pointing to bullishness. I believe the bottom is in. Let's go to the weekly, right? If we look at the weekly, do we see anything important? Looks like a weekly double bottom ADL line, right? What do we see here? Questionable, right? Questionable, nothing there really. And then, yeah, so mainly everything that I think is pointing to a bottom is on the daily chart. But that's like 9 technicals of confluence. And my whole trade thesis is around these factors, right? We have triple bullish divergence in the RSI, ADL line, and MACD, right? We've completed, I believe, a 5-wave structure. I've counted them all. They're all there into a major demand, a last resort demand. This was the worst case scenario. If we start printing under this, like I don't have a bull thesis for Tesla until rates are cut, right? But what we've done here is we've had a completion of a larger degree ABC correction that has been multi-month, right? We're almost at a year, multi-month correction, and the counts all the way down to the last ones, all the way down to the last micro counts are all there. So I think a lot of confidence will come from these 2 pivot breaks, right? We need to make higher highs. So we need to get above 183 and we definitely need to get above 205. I believe in my heart and soul when this happens, everyone else will be on board, especially this one right here. If we start breaking above this pivot high, that's a massive, larger time frame, higher high. And what this tells us is when we start breaking these pivot highs, dips will be bought. All right, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. So you can buy now, or you can wait and be patient. But I've got my position now. I've added my position. I've been accumulating this position, and I believe wholeheartedly, especially with the confluence of the broader market, that a rally that I believe is about to happen, that the Tesla bottom is in, and we see a rally from here. Current price is 172. Good luck. Hope you take a position. If you do, enjoy. Not financial advice. Take care.